Okay. We had a shuffling around of people there, so I was clicking the button and it popped up the wrong person. Hey, Randy.
Hey, guys. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, we're super excited to hear your talk tonight. And you were on the game theory panel yesterday.
Yeah, that was outstanding.
You guys did a great job there. And I know you're going to do a great job tonight, because you know the most about the game theory of making crypto go viral and the social aspects of marketing. So can't wait to hear your talk.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Thanks.
Hey, everybody. I'm here down in Acapulco and loving life. We've got our freedom back. And I just want to talk about a subject that's near and dear to me. It's delayed gratification. There's been an absolute struggle in my life of finding what I want to do and where I want to go and how to succeed. And it started when I was a child, growing up and never being satisfied and trying to decide what am I going to do? How do I satisfy everybody around me? I was in a gifted school. I did very well in school. I was one of those people that never had to study. And then, I wanted to go to the Coast Guard Academy, and I just didn't have the math grades for it. I had the rest, everything else worked out perfect, but I just didn't have the math grades. So, I asked my father, what do I do? My dad said to me, kid, I'm not paying for your college. I said, all right, that sucks. All right, so what do I do now? So I ended up joining the Navy, and I spent 7 years in the U.S. Navy as a hospital corpsman. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's just a nice word for a nurse. And I had a great time when I wasn't working, but I absolutely hated my life when I was in actually doing my job. I didn't like being told what to do. So I was one of those guys that was always in front of the man. I went to not captain's mast, but XOI is what we call it in the Navy for multiple things. I was always in trouble, right? So I got out of the Navy after 7 years. I still had no clue what direction to go with my life. So I worked job to job. I must have had 30 jobs in a 10-year span. I was just confused. All I knew is that there was something inside of me that was pushing for freedom, and I wanted to be out of the system that I was stuck in. So I was in Tampa at the time, and Ron Paul ran for president. And I don't remember if you guys remember what happened with that, where he got shunned and put to the side, but that sparked something in me. I realized that there was a possibility that the world around me could change, and that there was other alternatives than what we were being spoon-fed. So I went down that road of libertarianism, and that lasted a little while. I read books by Peter Schiff called The Dollar Collapse. That really put me down the road of silver and gold. I did the deep dive. I was buying silver and gold every paycheck. I had a nice little stack, and I moved back to New York and bought a house. Thankfully my parents, they helped me buy a foreclosed house. We rebuilt it, and I flipped it 3 years later. We did a great job, right? It was just that whole theme of delayed gratification. So you go in, you do something, and then a couple years later, I got the rewards. So I grew lonely. I did not like where my life was going in the United States. I was just absolutely fed up. So I took a trip to Panama, where I had been stationed when I was in the Navy. I love fishing. I just like the warm weather. I like the ladies. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go visit. So I came down, and I spent about 10 days, and I said to myself, you know what? I got to get out of the U.S. So I came home. I told my parents my plan. They thought I was nuts. And they said, what? You just bought a house. Why would you do such a thing? And I said, you know what? I need to change. I need to make a change. I need to do something that's really going to break it open. That's really going to be a hard change. Not something that's, oh, I'm just going to do this for a couple days, like a New Year's resolution type of change. I needed something hardcore. So I said, I'm getting out of the country. I'm going somewhere where I'm not going to be comfortable. I'm going somewhere where I don't know anybody, and I'm going to start all over again. And that's what I did. So I moved to Panama. I took a sales position at a gold and silver company. I started writing articles about gold and silver. I was selling gold and silver for a while. I was doing really good. They said to me, Randy, what are you doing? Can you do this for all of our companies? I said, yeah, sure, because I was using Facebook, I was using Google, I was doing running ads, I was doing all this stuff on my own. And they said, can you do this for our companies? I said, sure. So that's how I got into the social media thing. And one day I was in the car with my first partner, Mike, South African gentleman, and we were going to work, and he said to me, Randy, have you heard about this Bitcoin thing? And I said, yeah, I just read an article about it the other day. It sounds pretty cool. It's like all my libertarian friends are into it. And he said, no, it's like $7 right now. Maybe we should take our checks and buy some Bitcoin. And we said, yeah, let's do it. But guess what? We forgot about it. Like 6 months later, Bitcoin was, I think it was $1,000. It went up to 1,000. Absolutely nuts. We were so disappointed. We were like, dude, we knew. We started learning. We dove into it, and then we forgot. So I made a big mistake there. So I kept going, kept learning about Bitcoin, and then it all hit me, man. I lost my position with a gold and silver company. I was in Panama. I was by myself. I was living in a very nice condo. And I said, I have to survive. I am not going back with my tail between my legs back to the US. I'm going to make this work. So I contacted my buddy at goldseek.com. I started writing articles for him. I started doing social media for him. And I started writing articles, travel articles for expats. And I found a way to make a nice living to continue paying my rent. And then Annabelle and I got married. That's when Annabelle and I had known each other for about 1.5 years. We got married, and that's how our life started. And that's how our business started. And crypto came in, and we started buying Bitcoin in 2014. And it just, those first couple of years, it was painful. We didn't have anything, guys. I wish you guys, I know there's many out there that understand what I'm saying, but when we first started our business, we didn't go out. We didn't have the money to go out to eat at a nice restaurant. We couldn't afford to buy a nice car. We were taking taxis around town. We really sacrificed those first 3 years of our business. It was tough. We had lots of fights, and then that's, typical money fights everybody has, but we knew that we wanted to succeed. So slowly but surely, we built up our business, and we got to the point where we could start doing social media for crypto companies, and we started getting paid in crypto. That was late 2014, 2015. And over the time, we did crypto social media for about 40 different companies. I'm not going to name names here. I don't want to do that, but we did great. And I got to meet a lot of the people in the crypto space. I like to tell you guys stories on Discord Syndicate all the time, the people I know and the conversations that we've had. But it took a lot of time to get to that point. I have people messaging me all the time and say, Randy, I want to move to Mexico. Mandy, I want to move to Costa Rica or Colombia, those kind of things, but I don't have any money. And I say to them, look, start building a business, start making yourself an income, or find a job in one of these countries, and that's going to pay you enough to survive. Or if you can find a way to have a nice income like we can make with HEX, maybe you can have the income to pay for your bills to then build a business or do the whole thing like we did. So the delayed gratification is a skill that they talked about the marshmallow test the other night, not choosing to eat that marshmallow, waiting and then getting the second one. Well, that's how I feel about life. If you can just hold on and wait, if you could just step back and say, I don't want to eat the first marshmallow, then you possibly have a second one. So we're going to talk about HEX. This whole event is about HEX. And when you make your stakes, it's so tempting to do an early on stake when you do a 3, 4, 5, 10, 15x. But if you can just step back, take a deep breath, and realize that that stake might be worth 10, 20x more, if you could just wait till the end of that stake, I think that you're going to be a much happier person. You're going to feel better about yourself. The whole truth engine of HEX when you make a decision, you put that stake in, you are making a commitment to follow through and go through the whole year, the whole 2 years. Yes, I tested the early end stake. I did it in the first month of HEX. I staked something, I early end staked it. I wanted to see how it worked. I don't ever want to do that again. So unless you can afford to go for those 5 stakes, don't just jump into those. Be wise, be smart about your stakes. Make a staking ladder, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just go 5 years out. Be smart. I know Hex always talks about it. It shows on his graph. He does the lines with his little dog and that when you do your staking ladder, make sure that it's set up properly where you're not tempted to go and do an early on stake. Because delayed gratification is hard. Society has taught us that when you make something, that you take it right away. We're always fearful that we're gonna lose. And we saw that in the crypto space at the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018. Everyone just started selling. They said, oh my God, Bitcoin's 20,000. And then 10% of people started selling, then another 20% sold, and it just crashed the market. And then by December of that year, Bitcoin was back to 3,000. You don't want to have to deal with that. So with HEX, we are forced to sit through our stakes. And if you can just do it, you'll benefit not just yourself, you'll benefit our whole community. Think about that for a second. Delayed gratification, when you make a commitment, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're benefiting the whole community of HEX. Because we can see when we, Silver the Antidote, when he looks at the graphs, he knows exactly when the large stakes are coming out. And you can know exactly when the large stakes are coming out as well. So if you see that there's a big one coming out, 1 million HEX, 2 million HEX, and maybe you don't want to sell at that exact moment. So delay your unstake for a couple weeks. If you're in the US, so you don't want a taxable event, delay it and then unstake and then sell your HEX a little bit, or sell your interest, then restake out 10 years or something like that. If you can do that, you're going to be a very wealthy person. People need to learn and need to educate themselves about having patience. It took me a long time to get to that point. I was a hot-headed person when I was a kid, when I was young. I'm getting old now. So God has taught me to be patient, to take things in kind. I don't need to go buy an expensive house. I don't need to drive a Ferrari. I don't need any of those kind of things. All I need is a basic house to live in and enough money to live off of. And then my son will be taken care of his whole life if we do this thing correctly. And I'm asking for all of your help to not do the early unstake, for your benefit and for my benefit and for everyone in the whole community. I think that we all made a good choice. We're here very early. Guys, we haven't even touched the beginning of HEX. I can't even tell you how many people I've had the conversation with that are now starting to talk about HEX. Like, Randy, should I get in now? And in my spirit, I'm like, oh man, dude, you missed this huge run already this year. But I know that if I would have gotten in Bitcoin when it was $7, it's equivalent to where I am right now with HEX. And those people are going to be very happy 2 years from now, 5 years from now, and 10 years from now. So start learning about delayed gratification, start learning to be patient. So thank you, Mati.
Awesome talk. Thank you, Randy.
No problem.
Take care.